I want to talk with everybody about high kicks today, and in particular, three fantastic kicks, three fantastic setups that are going to allow you in sparring to place your leg up there and just touch people and go, yeah, I could have knocked you out. Look, we all know that there are certain things in sparring that are just that much more humiliating to be on the end of. For me, getting thrown. I do not like getting thrown. I'll get up and be like, yeah, nice work, but I don't like it. I feel like that's one of the determining factors in comparing skill level. Like anybody can run forward and throw some punches and hit me once or twice, but to toss me to the ground, whew, that means your skill level's up there. And in addition, landing a high kick. Somebody puts a shin or a foot against the side of my head, I'm like, okay, I know that one could have really damaged me because, let's be real, when we fight, we have gloves on. It's not as damaging. There's not as much power as a kick where you're landing flush with your foot or flush with the shin. So it's just one of those techniques. If I can land a high kick on somebody, yeah, I'm liking that. So let's talk about three ways we can set this up. Now, number one is going to be the question mark kick, but we have to talk about the entry. Sure, I could just stand here and try and question mark kick, but to really sell it, there's a few fine details which we can look at, and I want to give you a couple of my personal tips on this kick. Now, many people struggle, in my opinion, because they're unable to lift up and get to the point where they can flip their foot above their knee. You don't have to be able to hold that very long, but you can even catch your shin if you want. So if you're trying to get better at this kick, just start like this with your toes pointing forwards. You elevate up to the ball of your foot. As you do that, the foot flips above the knee and you can grab your shin, and that's the question mark kick. That's the hard part right there. It's not this, it's not this, it's this transition in between. So once you understand that, then you can start going, okay, what way do I want to set this up? Do I touch them once, touch them again, and then do that flip? Or do I make it more like a low kick where I come down, down, and then same thing, wrap it around. But having that ability to flip is very important, and not trying to muscle this kick in particular is something which I've really noticed is beneficial. If I try and come in and I'm kind of stiff and I'm going, it's very difficult. But when I can just kind of loosen the leg up and go, you know what, I'm aiming for more of a loose whip, that's when I go, oh, I have lots of success. But the setup for me is everything, right? Touch them once and then go into this kick, or multiple times. And you can play, this is the final trick here, play with your eyes, right? Psych them out with your eyes. Touch low, look low, and then throw. Well, you continue to look down there, so you have more of that chance they're gonna really believe that's coming or this is coming, and they react the way they want, which is exposing their head. High kick setup number two is working off the same arm and the same leg, but not doing a rechamber on the punch. And because I'm not doing the rechamber, I don't have that normal beat. 1, 2. I have 1, 2. And this one works so nicely because if the person does anything to deal with this punch, they leave the side of their head open for that split second, not even a split second, like a quarter of a second. Now, my arm obviously is not going to stay out here. It can swing, but it's going to swing from the extension position. You see that? Out, down, out, down. And those two tie together so well, I could take this punch absolutely down to the torso if I wanted and try and get them to draw their arms down. That works nicely too. Come down here, and then I sweep high. But either way, working off the same arm to the same leg is what makes this so effective. And it's just that timing, that boom, time from one technique to the other. Now, the final one I want to talk about is something which you're going to go, oh yeah, Gabriel, everybody does that. This isn't unique. But give me a second. Let you show me my spin on this. We're talking about a hook off one limb and then the opposite leg. Now, if I just do that, that's just very sort of Dutch style. Boom, boom, very Dutch style kind of thing. And while that works, I found throughout the years that actually landing as opposed to with the knuckle, making this more of a slap. And because it's a slap, I can then kind of give them a push. So instead of them taking the impact and going, whew, and then being right there to block the kick, I actually kind of hit them and I give them a bit of a shove. It's harder to show here on Bob, but I'll just do it to his shoulder. Instead of hitting, I kind of come and I give that little push, and you really move them into the kick. So instead of them staying stationary, boom, and being right here, I actually move them all the way over with this little sort of shove. Open palm for me seems to work so much better. I feel like I get so much more power as opposed to trying to push like this. I don't know why that feels so much harder as opposed to there where I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. Absolutely no problem on that one. So you can play around with it. You just come to your hook like normal. Once you make impact, you continue through for a little push and then right into the high kick, and they almost run into it. And even if they keep their hands up, it's most likely because they just block this and they're getting pushed that they're not going to be able to reach across and get that cross block, so they end up getting pushed and eating it off one hand. And we've seen people in many fights get knocked down through one hand. So be sure to be careful with this one, because yes, it can absolutely land and do a lot of damage. So play around with these 3 ways that I love to land high kicks and see if you can have some more success in the gym. Just as always, be nice, be kind when you're sparring, and don't lay people out. Because yes, absolutely, one of these where you're just kind of like, and you have a little too much power, or you're lacking a little bit of control, and they lean into the kick one time and the person's on the ground. And sadly, I have done this once or twice where I've touched people, was just really loose with my leg, like I was saying before, just like whoop, and it just tapped, and oh no. So careful and be a nice sparring partner. That's all, guys. I'll see you back here soon.